I think this is where I got cut off. Or well, I made a mistake. So we'll restart this reaction from right here. Oh, and happy 420. Hey, say hello to Skelly. All right, here we go.
Oh, I don't have a problem with it. It's like disagreeing with one of the players on your team about how you're going to run the play. We have the same goals.
Run the play.
Our goals are similar, but on this issue, I'm like, nah, bro, you're wrong, and let me explain why. And I think that it's healthy for that to happen internally in the party. What you don't want is for a governor or somebody to say, "This is what I'm doing," and everybody just puts their head in the sand, knowing that it's the wrong way to go.
Yeah.
And I think that so when you bring up that issue, it's actually really healthy because what the scholars put out,
Healthy.
could you say it's technically correct? Yes. But
God.
how does it sound? How does that appeal to people? What's going to be the response of people? Will your opponent, in this instance, I mean the Democrats, are they going to try to wield it and use it against you? The answer to that is also yes. So that's where I have a responsibility to come out and say, no, that doesn't make any sense. We should make a change to that.
Mhm.
And I think that's healthy. And if you have a healthy party where you're allowed to have disagreement with people who are, I'll say we're kind of at the
I forgot. Right here, you see the Republican? Stephen A is a Democrat. And that's okay. But he should put that out there. I mean, just because Byron's putting it out there. Maybe we should put a DEM here. Just saying.
top of the elected side of the party, that makes it for a better party overall. I will be more concerned if I made a statement like that and the entire party came out against me. That's actually not what happened. A lot of people in the party were like, man, thank you for saying that because I didn't agree with it, but I didn't know how to say it.
Right.
So when you said it, it actually gave me something to work from to be able to educate other people.
I feel you about that. I feel you on that because you're talking about a bigger picture, and I get that. The flip side to it, however, is this: if I'm with somebody that I'm aligned with, and they can disagree with me on the issue of slavery and how white, because that when I actually went on Fox News and I said this about Jesse Waters, who actually I like his show and what have you. But I'm like, why are you even bringing that up? Why are you even defending it?
That's a
why
good point.
are you even trying to explain what his intent was? It's slavery, bro. That is not something that we need to find a disagreement on because you didn't go through that. We did as a people. And so for me, it's not just a disagreement. It's the actual issue that you were disagreeing on that made me look at Ron DeSantis differently. But I want to move on because I know we're running out of time. And I really, really thank you for your time.
Wish we
I'm
could have
really
heard him on that.
Talking about this.
That's great.
How the hell are you supporting Donald Trump at this point?
Oh my.
I'm talking about 4 count. I'm talking about 4 charges, 91 counts. I mean, people are talking about you could be in prison, running the country for president for crying out loud. I think that's gonna happen.
So why you even put it out there, man?
But I'm just saying, how
people crazy
could you possibly support Donald Trump?
Go ahead.
First of all, I'll tell you right now, between him and Joe Biden, this isn't even a question. Joe Biden sucks. He's terrible at the job.
Sleeping.
And we do have to acknowledge that before COVID-19, despite all the circus and the phony investigations, the Russia collusion thing was phony. That's now come out to be proven. Despite all of the distractions in the circus, he actually did the job as president of the United States.
Listen
Every
to him.
demographic group was doing well under Donald Trump. Every demographic group was doing well. Our border was secure. There were no foreign wars that anybody was talking about that we were entangled in. Our country was booming. Energy prices
84.
We were energy independent, something that every politician that said that they wanted to do. Donald Trump actually was able to make all that stuff happen. Now let's look at the actual charges. Do you mean to tell me that because a president of the United States had classified documents, who, by the way, former presidents still have their security clearance, they still get the daily presidential briefing, that now somehow this is a threat to national security? That is a joke. Especially
stupid.
Considering the fact
Not even a good
the
joke.
only way the National Archives could even bring this charge, or excuse me, the FBI and the Department of Justice could bring this charge, is that the White House counsel, who works for Joe Biden, had to allow it. That's one. Two, what's going on in Georgia? I'm sorry, flat out wrong. And every candidate who runs is allowed to challenge election results. Every candidate. It's not some RICO charge. That's insane to me. And then when you take the other two charges, the one in New York, that one is just really, really stupid. And then the last one, this January 6th one.
Okay.
They have no, hold on, this is important, Stephen. I want to lay this.
Please.
They have nothing that proves that Donald Trump encouraged, organized, structured anything that happened with January 6th. This is weaponization of the Justice Department against a political rival. And it's flat out wrong. And here's my example for that. Okay. One of my colleagues, Steve Scalise, who was shot at the congressional baseball practice. The shooter said in his manifesto, the reason he went to shoot up the Republican baseball practice is because Bernie Sanders was saying that the Republicans want to take away health care, and he felt it was wrong. Are we bringing Bernie Sanders up on charges? Because Bernie Sanders was using his political speech, and it led wrongfully for some knucklehead to come almost kill Steve Scalise? No, we don't do that. That's not the standard of justice. So just because they're using the justice system in a weaponized fashion doesn't take away Donald Trump's liberty to run for office or to be supportive.
Okay, well, let me come back at you. This is just my personal opinion, my humble opinion.
Sure.
Nothing compared to you in terms of the knowledge, because you do this for a living. Let me say this to you. Number one, I think the charges in New York are bogus. There's a waste
Hold
of time with the.
Hold up. Why would you make it seem as if these charges should persuade a voter if they are bogus? That don't make no sense. Matter of fact, if these charges is bogus, why are we wasting taxpayer money? I mean, why are we always wasting money? Can we not waste money one time? Can we put money where it need to actually be? And then maybe even put money in a bank account? I don't even know if government uses bank account, but put it away, put it on the side. I mean, Steven, hey, come on. That don't make no sense. Every show you do. If it's all bogus, why did it seem like on other shows it ain't bogus?
No argument there. No argument there. Georgia, there they got them on tape with those 11,000.
You ain't paying attention then, Steven.
Yeah, but I get it.
18K, remember that number?
Now, the files at Mar-a-Lago. You had no business removing them from the White House. You saw the interview that he did with Brett Baer for Fox News, which I thought was epic. Okay, talking about you had shoes and socks and whatever the hell else he is in those boxes. Clearly that wasn't the case. And more importantly, all you had to do was give the Department of Justice what they were asking for. And remember, they came.
That's all he had to do.
And asked him
why he
for it,
didn't.
and he had refused to give it back. According to the report, you would know more than me. I'm certainly only going by what I'm reading. Okay, so to
but
me,
then why are you even
that's
saying
problematic
anything? Why don't you go do
because
more investigation?
anything that's potentially endangering national or jeopardizing national security, they shouldn't be in your bathroom or your bedroom at your spot in Mar-a-Lago.
Stop saying what you don't know then.
Contained. It should be in a secure location because lives.
Oh, good Lord, did you hear me there?
Now let's get to the insurrection.
Let us.
I'm going to shock you here. I do think he incited. I do think he was irresponsible.
But what?
I do not believe it was criminal. I do not believe that. I think it was.
All I ask is why do you make it seem that on other shows you question? It just don't make no sense at all. Like that January 6th thing is really stopping people from going to be like, all right, we gonna MAGA Trump. Like, at least be fair about it. You always talking about being fair. And you ain't ever even voted right. What is, man, Stephen A., man, come on.
Highly inappropriate and wrong. There's no excuse for him to be, when they were trying to certify the election.
Bro, you said that 100 times already. Move on to what your point is.
And rally and tell them we're going to go up to the U.S. Capitol. We've got to stop this. And, supporting people screaming about hanging.
Apparently you didn't hear the whistleblower.
Because you wanted to get him not to verify or certify the votes, to make sure, the transition of power took place peacefully.
You sound like Kamala. Just continue on. Continue on. Come on. Let's go.
Thing for him to do. But I don't believe it's criminal. The criminals are the ones that busted into the Capitol. The criminals are the ones that did those things, not him saying he did use the word peacefully, because I'm no fan.
So why do you
knowing
make it
how
seem
he
like
did
it's?
He
But
did
he
say that.
did
He
use
said
the word
peacefully.
peacefully. He
Thank you,
did
Byron.
say
You're
that.
just better
Like,
than
they
me.
want to ignore that, but
I
it's the
couldn't
truth.
sit there
I
like
gotta
this, man.
I got to say that. But it was irresponsible. And in closing, I'll say this. I believe the presidency is a state.
Give it a long
Don't
closing
believe that
in
you
Trump's
can be
favor.
somebody that is as divisive and dismissive of concerns that don't favor you and be the commander in chief of this nation. I think that leads to a divide. I think that's the kind of thing that can create civil war in this nation.
So
And
stop
that is my
pushing the
concern
baloney,
to
my
that
God. The
concern.
propaganda. Let's go.
Well, a couple of things. First, I'll say with respect to the January 6th charges, yes, he said peacefully. We'll go to the Capitol. We'll protest peacefully. And in every one of his statements, he's always saying we'll protest, but we protest peacefully and we follow the law. The other thing I will add about January 6th, because of my time on the Oversight Committee, is Donald Trump authorized 10,000 National Guard troops on January 4. So if he was trying to have violence at the Capitol, why would he authorize National Guard troops 2 days before to be at the Capitol? And the only person who said no to the National Guard being at the Capitol was Nancy Pelosi, because Nancy Pelosi, being Speaker of the House at the time, is in charge of Capitol security. I know they don't report on this stuff, but that's the stuff that came out in the Oversight Committee. The second thing I'll say, going on what happened in Georgia, I've listened to that phone call. Everybody's listened to that phone call with him and Raffensperger. He's allowed to say, man, hey, I'm just looking for these votes. That doesn't mean there's a criminal conspiracy.
Did you hear,
It
Stephen?
doesn't. Now to the documents, and this is the important one.
Okay.
With the document situation, every former president has taken classified information with them when they leave the White House. Every single one. The National Archives Act gives them the Presidential Records Act, excuse me, let me make sure I say it right, gives every president a 5-year period to negotiate back and forth with NARA. It's always been an administrative process. With respect to them being, the picture of them being in the bathroom, I've been to Mar-a-Lago 10 times now. You just can't walk through Mar-a-Lago willy-nilly because Secret Service protection is on the ground securing the president's personal quarters at Mar-a-Lago. So when they show these pictures, that's because the FBI took that picture and then leaked that picture to the press. It wasn't that somebody put it on their Instagram. That's the way they would want it to seem, but that's not actually the case. So the president, under the Presidential Records Act, not just him, but every president has the ability to go back and forth with the National Archives about what material is in a former president's possession, and they do that. I truly believe what happened here is that you had some bureaucrat at the National Archives was basically like, "Oh, I saw something, let's go in there and get it." They couldn't do it on their own. And so you had to have the White House counsel's office sign off on it because the president, Joe Biden, had to basically revoke Donald Trump's presidential privileges in order to send in the FBI. That's the issue with the documents case.
Okay, so I only got a few minutes left. Let me get to this real quick. I need some quick
Byron
answers
is
from you.
man.
Yeah, we'll go quick.
Stephen
4
is too.
indictments,
Come on, Steve.
91 counts. Why bother? I mean, if DeSantis was in office, if Ramaswamy was in office, if Nikki Haley was.
Why even ask that question? If you just said everything is bogus, why even ask that? You know the answer. The only answer could be is he's not the system, maybe. He doing it for what he believes the right reason, not about the money. Because to go through all this, boy, that boy, 8 years.
Was in our office. If Chris Christie was in office, the list goes on. If you were there, according to how you sound, y'all all would probably vote pretty much identical, or you'd run the country pretty close to how he did it from a policy perspective. Why don't y'all look at it and go like this? Look, man, we appreciate what he's done as president. We liked him, but you know what? This is a bit too much. Let's move forward with somebody else and get rid of all of this noise. Why can't y'all do that?
Well, that's a great question. I think that there are some people who are there, but most of the party, in terms of the voters now, the Republican voters on the ground, they're not there. Second thing is that as a Republican, it's all in vogue now to be a fighter and stand on principle and say no to the media and call them out when they're being ridiculous at a moment's notice. But before Donald Trump, no Republican was doing that. They would all turn tail and run if there was any political pressure or any media pressure whatsoever, because they were more concerned about voters and actually doing the right thing for the country. So I think you have a lot of Republican voters who look at them and look at this and they say, when he was president, the country was in a significantly better place. They've been chasing him down for years, not just with the 4 cases. Go back to Russia collusion, the 2 impeachments, and all that stuff. They've been going after Donald Trump since 2015. And the man is still here fighting these people. And in the mind of a lot of Republican voters, and I'll even say a lot of Americans, if this guy's willing to stand up to all of these people, he's got to be doing something right, because the people that were running the country before, they sucked at the job and they didn't know what they were doing, and the country was worse off as a result.
He's 77.
Yeah.
Biden's 81 going on 82. Nancy Pelosi just broke news talking about she's gonna return to office.
You just brought up Nancy Pelosi.
88? I don't know how old she is, but it's in the 80s, okay? and Mitch McConnell, God bless him, not wishing anything on. He froze not once or twice. Clearly something was wrong. I don't know what is. I know the doctor's reports came out and said he's okay.
I'm glad he's okay, but he's
he's
older. They're in
as
there
a
forever.
44-year-old congressman. I'm imagining you have aspirations. Some people have said governor of Florida in 2026. Others have said vice president down the line. How do you feel about the fact that these folks in their late 70s and 80s won't go home?
Please tell me.
Well, I mean, look, for me, are you mentally capable? That's number one.
Yeah.
Or do you have like a job in front of you?
But there got to be term limits.
My view, it's time for Mitch to step down from Republican leadership.
What?
If he leaves the Senate, that's something.
No.
But to be the Republican leader, yeah, it's time. It's time for that to end. I mean, Joe Biden, let's just be perfect.
That's being real, people.
This is not a political thing, because nobody wants to see anybody go through this. But he's not the same man he was 4 years ago or even 2 years ago.
I've said that.
And everybody,
that's just being so. No, he's never been a good politician.
Nancy Pelosi's not going to be speaker anymore, so I don't get it. Donald Trump is running for president, and when I last talked to him a week ago, 2 weeks ago, mental capacity is still there. Energy level is still there.
We see
As long as you have your faculties about you, I don't really think age is the thing. But if you're not in a leadership position anymore, but you're just hanging on for the sake of hanging on, it's time to go. It's time for recovery.
2 things I want to say. First of all, Nancy Pelosi is 83. So I wanted to get that out the way. I joked around about 88. She's 83. Mitch McConnell.
Oh, you joked? You sound so. Yo, who cares that you got to run? What deal?
I certainly didn't mean to apply any ageism. It doesn't matter.
Look how quick you go to defend your words against those people, but you go in on Trump like it's no big deal.
No problem with that.
What is going on?
Governor of Florida. Is that you in 2026? Is that something that you're going to pursue?
Yeah, I think so. Look, in politics, here's what I know, Stephen A. You can't play in politics. You work hard.
Republican, Democrat, it don't matter. Go vote. But inform us, Stephen.
I've seen people try to plan politics. It never works out because something's happening all the time. But, I think there's a lot of people in Florida, in my state, they've come to me and they want me to run. That's something they want me to look at. And for me, Florida, we're the best state in the country. We're the exact opposite of California. And I will say about California, man, that weather, oh my gosh, it's just gorgeous. They're still
on another level,
but
no question.
I've been there a couple times.
The government's insane. It makes no sense. It's crazy. And that's why people are fleeing California. They're coming to Florida. So I think the job for the next governor is to keep that momentum that Florida has built going.
Well, according to Gavin Newsom, governor of Florida, governor of California, on the show with Hannity when he was going head to head with them, he swore up and down there's more people leaving Florida to go to California than there are people. What's
wrong with you? That's some baloney.
Point about Gavin Newsom. He's that guy that got drafted quarterback and you realize after 2 games he can't play. That guy can't play. He's terrible at this.
Terrible.
For Joe Biden. We drafted him.
That's the only way he's playing, Steve, and you know it.
And so we're stuck. And unfortunately, you're stuck with him through the season. So you got to replace your quarterbacks, America. If they can't play, they can't play.
Last
I love, but
what's more
yo,
appealing? Vice President of the United States in the Trump administration. If Trump wins the nominee, which it appears he will, Vice President.
should
or
he though, Steve?
Governor.
Should he? What do you think?
Oh, I've not been posed with that question before.
So think on it. Think on it.
It's an easy answer for me. I don't know what it is
But
for you,
you
but
don't
it's
even-
I mean, it's always cool to be in charge. I'll say that. It's because I mean, even when you're vice
That's
president,
real, ain't
you
it?
are number
See,
two.
look at
That's
you.
right.
You don't
But
even
it's
know
always
how
cool
real
to be in
goes.
charge.
Look
But
at
I
you
gotta tell
listening
where the
in.
country is, I probably would say vice president.
because why?
Because and here's why. Part of it is policy. Part of it is getting the country on track from my perspective. The other part is just bringing back like a political and cultural cohesion to the country. I think people get frustrated when Republicans and Democrats don't compromise, but that's in part because there's no real political cohesion.
Yeah, but can you really
in the
pull that
country.
off from the vice presidency?
Yeah, because you do. We can watch
I'm
them.
pretty good,
What you
man.
mean,
Yeah,
man? We
pretty
can
good.
do it now. We got
You
you.
be allowed to be pretty good because I
Look
think
at my
you're
boy. Let's go.
You find a way. I have to go on first take and prove it to you.
Okay. Well, you first of all,
You ain't putting like you.
I can't beat you here.
He might be
because
out.
you know
He
your
might
stuff.
have
I
him
got the
Kathy
research
first.
half the
That's
stuff
all I'm
you
saying,
said.
Steve.
But when it comes to first take, that's sports, and you're a Cowboys fan. You have no hope.
Oh, stop!
No
You're a
hope.
Knicks fan.
Well, hold on.
No, you a
Let's
Knicks
say, first
fan.
of all, I got to give full props to the Denver Nuggets and Nikola Jokic. That dude is crazy. He's amazing.
He's special.
But I will
This
also
is
say,
real talk,
I like
fellas.
what the Lakers have done in the offseason. I like the pieces. You know, I just need LeBron. I need AD. I need AD to be.
We've been
consistent.
needing
I need
AD. Stop it, bro. AD
Listen,
not doing nothing. We've always been needing AD.
Stuff, and I don't. That this is not my realm, but I
I'm
will
with
tell
being
you
needing
this.
AD.
It was an honor to talk to you, and I
It
love
really
talking to
was.
you. And it's hard to root against you when you say some of the things that you say and you break it down the way
This-
that you break it down. And I just want you to know, I'm an independent. I'll listen.
Oh, now you're independent. You're stop playing. If you only vote Democrat, you a Democrat. Period.
About any pertinent subject that I'm broaching. Make no mistake about it. So I just want you to know that and keep in touch. All the best to you, and we'll talk down the road. I'll make it a point to meet up with you face to face.
Please do. Please.
Absolutely, man. It was a pleasure. Thanks for having me on.
Take
I
care of
appreciate
yourself.
it.
Representative Byron Donald's right here with Stephen A. Thanks to him. He made a lot of good points. We can get around it any way we want to, but the man made a lot of good points. Okay. Think about that, and we'll talk about this on my next episode and beyond. Thanks for watching another episode of the Stephen A. Smith Show. You can.
Oh, that was fun, right? So, Stephen A., YouTube's been around now for a while. I just found out about it 4 months ago, and I've been doing research, right? So everything Byron I've been watching it. You know what? If it's not the Vec for VP, Byron would be a good VP. Skelly, Byron.